I've been on about 60 plus shows in the last 18 months to 2 years. So I'm good recording and then letting you guys do what you got to do.
So, good luck with the editing, huh?
Yeah, good luck, guys.
60 done, 0 editing.
Just fire and forget, right?
Yep. Whenever I'm a guest, anyway, that's for sure. And I don't do our on our podcast. We're at almost 300 episodes, and I'm not a host. We've got 2 of my partners do that whole show. So
that's awesome. Yeah. I love it. Okay.
All
right. Here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming back. Welcome to the Commercial Finance Podcast with Lee-Chandler. Today I'm joined with my amazing co-host Hank Hunt. And we have an amazing guest for us today, Eric Upchurch. How are you doing, Eric?
I'm doing great. It's been nice talking with you guys, getting to know you a little bit.
Absolutely. And so with that being said, for those of you guys who are wondering, who is Eric? Why is he important? Eric is, I just have to say, phenomenal. I'm blown away, man, seriously. And I don't say that just to say it. Eric has an amazing why, and we'll let him talk about that. But before we get to the why, Eric, can you tell us how important it is to educate others and about your company?
Yeah, I mean, education to people who don't have resources to be educated on a certain topic is critical to growth, and I think that's one of the reasons that we're here. Hank, you said it earlier. You kind of echoed that sentiment. You don't know what you don't know. And I've been enlightened on several investing opportunities and was curious as to why others weren't. And it's a matter of exposure. So our platform, Active Duty Passive Income, teaches veterans and active duty service members, families, spouse, reservists, how basically anyone who has served past or present and their families, how to invest in real estate. And to go a step further than that, it's single family, multifamily, how to earn passive income, how to find a purpose. And I know we'll talk about that later. We are one critical element to preserving hope in a military member as they transition. Because I firmly believe that as long as you're breathing, you have purpose, but we lose a lot of that as we transition from the military. So our company leads people through the active duty process to understand that there's more to life than just serving, even while you're serving, and that you can build this passive income or active income on the side hustle, and do amazing things for amazing people. But you can also do it after you transition out, and it's a great way to supplement your W-2 or to go full-time into it. So we've created a niche where military and real estate investors collide, and it's starting to become quite a bit more than that.
From my perspective, that is an amazing niche market, only because from personal experiences, all too often, I'm going back to the Vietnam era. When we came out of Nam or back from Nam, we were not welcomed. We were considered scum in so many ways. And, in that, you never get rid of that feeling. Mm-hmm. But then to find someone like yourself who's actively reaching out and trying to help individuals who've worn the uniform of the country, who've shed blood for the country, I get goosebumps just knowing that somebody else cares and someone else is trying to make a difference in the lives of those who have served and who continue to serve. So I thank you. And I'm in the education receive mode today, Eric. And again, I can only say thank you. And anyone who's listening to this podcast, if they would just close their eyes for a moment and visualize themselves on the battlefield and try to sense what it would be like to know that you're in a hostile environment and may never take another breath in your life, and get back and find someone who's willing to let you know that there's life after military. That I'm speechless, my friend.
That's almost impossible empathy to expect. And I would love if every person that I talk to could understand why I said something the way I did, or why it's so important to me to end veteran homelessness this decade, or why it's so important to me to educate the next veteran or active duty service member on how to live their life after. It's really hard. But one thing that I'll do for your listeners that will help paint a picture for those who haven't served, or maybe they have family that served. Everybody knows somebody who's served. So this will paint a picture for people, I think, just to empathize a little bit. And so we see all the time in the news, veterans struggling, or veterans suicide, or, alcoholism, or arrests, or drug abuse. Suicide's the big one, right? Why is that happening? Let me tell you why that's happening. When you're a service member, you have team, you have sense of purpose, you have awards, accolades, the best training, the best mission. You know where to be, when, in what uniform. You have a real sense of purpose and mission. So you're also getting serotonin, dopamine, and adrenaline injections on a regular basis, and you love it. So now all that's a real big picture, right? And that's why people say, I can't wait to go back on my next deployment. It's a biological thing. It's not like you're crazy, man or woman. You're like, man, that was exciting. That one time we flew over Baghdad and an RPG locked onto a helicopter. I almost crapped my pants, but man, what an experience, right? Okay. So take as kind of a weird example, but take all of those things, safety and control, and standards, and mission and purpose, and team. Now you exit the military. It's an abrupt car wreck. It's a correlation is an abrupt car accident where you hit a pole. Your car stops, your body and organs continue on, and that's what leaves damage in the wake. So now you're in the civilian sector trying to find your way. And biologically, you're looking for safety, control, team, camaraderie, a tight-knit bond. You're looking for serotonin, adrenaline, dopamine, the things that drugs and alcohol will give you, or suicide attempts, attention getting things. And you're at an employment office where, or at an office building, or wherever, in a shop, or whatever you're doing for a W-2, where the employees don't care what they look like. They're complaining about their coffee being cold, maybe just unrelatable things. And so now you can see, I hope that paints a little bit of a correlation or a picture for somebody for why you see a veteran, specifically the most highly trained people on the planet, to do very specific things and be very good about it with safety and control completely in hand. Expectations set, they derail. It's not their fault. If they have purpose, if they can discover new self-worth and sense of purpose, why am I breathing? We are the best, most hireable people on the planet. So empathize with those who are struggling. Even if veterans don't know they're struggling, recommend that they go get checked out. When I left the military, I was in a special operations unit my entire time in service, and I did not think I had anything wrong. I buried a lot of my friends physically as the burial detail NCO. And I didn't think I had anything wrong because I was getting the dopamine, serotonin, and I was just like, yeah, the special operations is fun. We're doing good things. We're getting the bad guys. I got out and I found myself in San Francisco on 3rd Street off ramp one day, going to present to some people at my job in sales. And I saw a homeless veteran on the side of the road. And I said, man, I bet 20 years ago, he didn't think this was him. I bet you 20 years ago, he didn't think he was going to be sitting right here. So I went to the VA and just had a consultation, ended up in cognitive processing and prolonged exposure therapy for 3 years, because I felt like my family and friends and colleagues and everyone around me, I owed it to them. Not because I felt like anything was wrong, but tears were shed And I realized that there's some real things that everyone who serves should go get checked out. So now I just took up about 10 minutes of time. I
No,
hope that
you're
gave
fine.
I hope that gave some perspective to those who are like, why hire a vet? Or why is that guy trying to, why is he ruining his life? Why is he getting divorced all the time? Why is he drinking too much?
But see, that's Eric, that's part of realism that brings to bear the fact that mental health issues run rampant in society, but in the military, it's a different type of mental health issue. Um, and that, as you said, that sense of purpose is not there, or the individual who is highly skilled, highly trained, get it done now, comes into a work environment, brings that training, that level of discipline to the office, and now people are intimidated and saying, "Hey, man, slow down! Don't do all of this." And he's like, "Hey, but that's what I'm here for. Want to get it done now." So yeah, you're right. And then we get a bad reputation because someone may have been intimidated or threatened by us. And I'll leave it at us.
Sure.
Mhm.
So
And
tell us about the programs that you bring to bear for those who bled and died for this country.
so we put together a book. Basically, our company and community started with a book. It's called Military House Hacking. It's free on our website. It's also #1 bestseller on Amazon. But that was the beginning of what became a large community. We have 25,000 veterans and growing by about 10% per month right now, with a 93% engagement rate sustained over a couple of years in that community. And that is because we're listening and constantly adding value. And so adding value to the things that people say they need is
Mhm.
critical in any solution based business, right? And so we heard that they needed education. We created the Military Real Estate Investing Academy. We created the Military Multifamily Academy, and then more things spawned from there. I mean, lending and in-house lending. We own a mortgage company. We own an insurance company, a real estate brokerage, and then we have affiliates for all the things that a real estate investor would need: tax, legal, even credit repair, and all of those were just spawned from people saying, "Man, this is a great community, and I speak your language. You speak
Mm.
my language. How
Mhm.
can we work together?" And so we're honored to be representing the military real estate investing niche.
That's
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank you so much.
Eric, you mentioned the importance of having a controlled environment. Can you give us a correlation between a controlled environment and also financial empowerment for education?
Yeah, I think the word that came to my mind was focus. We have this conversation often in the civilian sector. What control means to me is the ability to say no to things, having a singular or maybe a multifaceted but parallel focus. If you have enough people on your team to get things done, we do have the tendency in the military to be a bull in a china shop sometimes with like, I want to be productive, but to me, control in a business setting or in a learning setting is learn one thing, be focused on it, exercise it. So put it to action, see how it went for you, see how you feel about it, see what you learned and what you need to tweak, and then continue that path, or learn horizontally and focus on a new thing that's maybe better suited for you. And I say that because when I started in real estate investing several years ago, I learned flipping, kind of went to a flipping seminar and kind of was like, oh my gosh, I read Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that was the spark. It was what it was. It was like, wow, I didn't know people did that really. Then it was, okay, I own his house. It just appreciated in the San Francisco Bay Area. It went from 500,000 to almost 700,000 in 2 years. We sold that house, and I was like, could I be intentional about this? So that was my using the VA loan, it was my military house hacking version, my capital building phase. And then I was like, well, I'm being pretty intentional about real estate investing. Maybe I can look into private lending and actually put some of this cash to work. Or maybe I can be a limited partner in a syndication because I have a buddy who told me about it one time. Maybe I can start a company in Kansas City with a friend that I grew up with, and we can flip houses there because it doesn't work in the San Francisco Bay Area for me. And so it was learning something, learning all I could, and then putting it to action, just like I said. And then I think for everyone who's trying to figure out what they want to do, is it's okay to try things. And then what is your feeling about them? If you hated the process, that's a clue. You might not be good at that thing long term. Even if you had one successful thing, but you felt terrible about flipping that house, or you just hated all the receipts, or you hated that, whatever that thing is that you feel, pay attention to it, write it down, put it on your vision board, whatever that thing is, because it might not be for you. And sometimes you can build a team around that. People on your team might be really good at that, and you're good at something that they're not, which is critical to building a team. But then, focus, I think, going back to the beginning, full circle, is focus on one thing at a time, get good at it, and or enough experience with it that you know whether or not you're going to continue down that path.
That's powerful. I see Hank's mind is moving.
You're right. It is moving, because he speaks a language that speaks to my spirit, and it's
because we're brothers.
And yes, that too. It's just that experience, as you say, experience teaches us a lot of things. And one of the things that Leland, you and I have talked about is people are intimidated by other people because they don't know them, and they make certain assumptions about who they are, what they have, who they know. And a lot of the stuff is so superficial.
It's a rented Lamborghini, man. I swear. Most of the time you see those people, it's a leased Lamborghini. Come
That's
on
good.
now.
And you're right. But so it's one of those things that when someone is talking to me and it resonates to a core level, I'm usually not at a loss for words, and just to find the young military people, and I call them young, that have a place, someone that is there to help them. So how do people find you? You're there, okay? You say you've got 25,000 followers and it's growing. Because normally at every military installation, they've got someone that is tasked with helping military to transition in or transition out.
Yeah.
But that's a different type of process. That's not helping them. That's just getting them out the way.
Yeah. Yeah. And there are some basic, like, quote unquote, educational tracks that people have to go through the transition assistance program, the Army program to get you out, right? Or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, to answer your question, it's outreach for us. I mean, some of this stuff is going to sound silly, but it's us finding them. It's us finding, through something as silly as an ad to something like working with groups like We Are the Mighty, which is a military media organization.
Okay.
We've done. We actually just partnered with $1 Million Listing New York broker Ryan Serhant. He's a Bravo TV star. He donated his real estate agent sales course to anyone in our community. And
That's awesome.
and then got on a live call last week to talk to everybody about the importance of selling. It was not even real estate sales, just being aware of how to sell and what motivates people one way or another. So it's strategic partnerships for sure. Getting the word out wherever we can, publishing books and donating books, donating houses, doing podcasts. It's the whole thing. And we're only 3 years into this. We're the premier brand for this right now and company and provider, but we will be much more prominent. And National Association of Realtors, that's a huge organization, just designated us an SME, a subject matter expert, to revamp their education for military real estate agents, for the military relocation professional.
Do you have an event, any individual, something that is one of your proudest moments in doing what you do today?
Yeah, we have a something I haven't mentioned yet, but we have something called ADPI Helps, which is helping everyone live post-stress. You know how we like acronyms in the military, right? So the helps is helping everyone live post-stress. All it is a PTSD and addiction, personal growth and development channel on Telegram that we use. We have monthly calls with either business professionals or mental health professionals or all kinds, like VA benefits professionals, not even real estate related at all, but it's a place where 24/7 military members can come in and just chat with somebody if they need to chat 24/7 on the app. So that's great. But we had on one of our first calls, we had a military member say, ADPI didn't just change my life, it saved my life. And so the ADPI Helps motto is save one life, simply save one life.
I don't know what it was like when you were on active duty, but if you were active, you were on that when I was coming along, if you're on active duty and you had issues,
yeah,
you were considered a wimp or a wuss, and they would do whatever they could to get you out.
Well, worse than that, in my unit, when you have a security clearance,
Yep, it pulled it.
Yeah, I can't stay in the special operations community if I have behavioral health problems, right? So that was the stigma that was part of, and I felt like it was okay because I didn't feel like I had anything wrong, even though I was burying my friends. But that is the stigma, is like, you can't go see the psychiatrist, even if you're hurting, because you could lose your job in a very specialized community that you worked hard to get into and thrive in. So
the pressures.
Hey, Eric, you had mentioned how you got started, and for any of the listeners who are still kind of wondering, how could they get started, and who are veterans, can you tell them the importance of the VA loan?
Yeah, I mean, only the last time I heard a stat, it was 13% of those who are eligible for the VA loan are qualified. I mean, are eligible for the VA loan and qualified are actually using it. And so what the VA loan is, for those who don't know, it's not a Veterans Affairs. It's not a loan through the VA. It is a product that veterans earn that allows you, it's an owner occupied loan. So you must live in the property, but it's 0% down financing with zero primary mortgage insurance, zero PMI. So typically if somebody does an FHA loan or, puts down less than 20%, they have to pay PMI, which is essentially, wasting dollars, but you needed the loan and you got into the property or whatever. So that's fine. But the VA loan allows you to get in for 0% down, no PMI. And you can actually buy up to a fourplex with the VA loan. And so we talk about just opening a veteran's eyes to the fact, or active duty service members to the fact, that you can move to a new location that you're stationed, or after you get out, wherever you want for the rest of your life, you can buy, for an example, a fourplex live in one unit, rent out the other three, put 0% down on a fourplex, and just live in one unit. And your lender might have stipulations as to how long you have to live in that unit or in that complex. But if you wanted to add value to it and really increase the net operating income of the property and operate it kind of as a business, you could renovate the unit you're in and move when one of your three other tenants moves out, move to the different unit, and then rent out the one you just renovated for a higher price, increasing your cash flow, and then renovate that one and just kind of skip until all four of them are renovated. Maybe that takes you 8 years. Who cares? You just probably added tons and tons of value to that property, and you're probably living for free and cash flowing also. So that's just one good example. We have young lieutenants who are, or even E5s, young sergeants who are living off post, buying their first house, and they're single and they're renting out rooms to their friends. That's house hacking. That's military house hacking. They have basic allowance for housing that's paying for their mortgage.
Yes.
And their tenants, their buddies, their other enlisted members are also getting basic allowance for housing to pay specifically to pay for their housing. And they can cash flow on a single family house also. So that's just something that, the military is never going to teach you those ins and outs. It's not their job. It's okay. It's just not their job. And so we've made it ours.
So.
So.
You just got to research the benefits that come to you by wearing the uniform.
Right.
All you need is an honorable discharge.
That is correct.
That's right.
And a pulse.
And Eric, how could someone take the strategy that you just mentioned and use that to propel them for investing in the future, for other deals, or just for their life?
I mean, just adding value to a property like that, increasing the net operating income. When you sell the property, you're either probably a combination of forced and market appreciation. We don't ever buy something counting on market appreciation. That's not part of the underwriting. If it happens, fantastic. But buy something that needs a little bit of work and spruce it up and sell it. You could sell it for more down the road. And, I did that in the San Francisco Bay Area with my family in tow. We did that 3 times. We bought a house, spruced it up, sold it between 9 months and 2 years later on 3 different properties. And that was our capital building phase. And we took some of that money, invested in a 439 pad mobile home park portfolio as a limited partner. And it's about growth and constant learning. I wouldn't have known that people can invest passively in apartment complexes or actively in apartment complexes unless I did the research, unless I had some spark that showed me like, oh, you can do this. Oh, you can do that. So it's about exploring. People have to go out and explore and find what they want to do and then figure out a way to put it to use. And that's what we do really well, is getting people to take action. Military members are great at action taking. We teach them how to do it in an educated way.
Awesome. And so, Eric, as we're wrapping up, you had mentioned early on something important about having a purpose, right? Having a why. Can you touch on that one more time for us, and then also tell us about your success formula?
Yeah. So we hear a lot of people say that you need to have a why, right? You hear it all the time. Put your why on your vision board. But I would like to say you need to have a deep rooted why. And if you don't know what that is, you can go 7 layers deep on yourself. You can say, my why is my family, financial freedom for my family. Well, why is financial freedom for your family important? Well, because my mom really took care of me when I was young. And this isn't my thing. I'm just saying, like,
okay, I was wondering, I was like, man, it's getting deep.
No, but because my mom really took care of me. And then, well, why is it important to make your mom feel a certain way? Well, because my mom had a hard. So you can figure out what is that driving force by asking yourself why to several questions and answers. Every time you answer it, or have somebody else do it to you, right? So for me, my deep-rooted why, the thing that's going to get me up out of bed every day, and I say this often, and it's part of our credo. I serve our community for the memory and pride of those who've gone before me, for they love to fight, fought to win, and would rather die than quit. So I do these things. There's nothing hard about real estate investing. There's nothing hard about entrepreneurialism. My hardest day is an easy day for somebody who's not breathing, for my brothers and sisters who are no longer here to feel those pains and growth, growth pains and successes and failures. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to do that. So having a deep rooted why is impactful, because on your worst day, you can go, at least I'm here. At least I'm still here. So that's why that's important. And then for the success formula, this is something that I take very seriously because it's tried and true. It's what I do every day. And it's pretty simple. So take notes, learn, network, add value, take action. Learn all you can. There are so many ways. You listen to podcasts like this. You can read books. You can, go out there. I mean, there's a million ways that you can learn all these things. Take courses, right? No shortage in learning. Network your butt off. Get out and talk to people. 3-foot rule. If somebody's within 3 feet of you or on a call with you, you need to tell them who you are and what you're all about, what your ambitions are, your networking. And then guess what? This ties into the next piece, which is add value. You're listening also. Asking people about their family, their occupation, their recreation, what they like to do, or something else about them that is going to make them feel special, and they will tell you their problems. When they tell you their problems, you figure out a way to help them solve that problem, or at least have that in the back of your mind, because when you're talking to somebody else in the room later, they might have the solution, and then you just became the most important person to 2 people in the room. So that's called super networking, listening with intent, and focusing on the person rather than you. People love talking about themselves, including me. Everybody does. It's human nature. We are biologically selfish. We have to be to survive. Okay. But if you take the time and say, I'm going to ask this person about them, I'm genuinely interested in, Hank's siblings, or where you guys live, or whatever the thing is, or what your pains are. People will often tell you what their pains are. You got to listen for those. So learn, network. That was the add value part. You're always adding value to other people. That's how you become important and how you solve problems and how you make it in business. And then the last part is action. If you don't take action, none of it matters. None of the rest of it matters. So you got to try. It's left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. So many people get stuck with left foot, left foot, left foot, left foot, left foot. You got to move forward. So try something. If it sucks, embrace the suck, move forward. And then, so learn, network, add value, take action. If you do those 4 things over and over with the intention to only be 1% better daily, success will hunt you down. You don't have to find it.
That's amazing. Yeah. Wow. John Maxwell says, add value to others.
Wow. That was awesome. Wow. Eric, where can the listeners find you?
I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. Instagram's at Real Eric Upchurch. You can find me on Facebook. You'll see my face, or just Eric Upchurch. If you're in the military, you can go to activedutypassiveincome.com. My email, please email me if you have questions, specifically eric@activedutypassiveincome.com. And glad to connect anytime.
Awesome. Eric, thank you so much. Truly, truly, truly. Thank you so much, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you.
Sir, thank you. I met a friend. So that's all I can say.
That's right.